as you can see there, we are still frozen. It is about 15 degrees outside. And I'm gonna go out here and cut some firewood, but I want y'all to look. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deer over there. Look at them, just hanging out over there. I think they're all younger, or they're all does. Yeah, you can tell by their noses that they're younger. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to my firewood channel. My name's Cameron, if you've not been here before, and today's mission is cutting frozen firewood and getting it out of the woods after winter storm Fern blew through here. It actually started a week ago today. As you can see, we're still frozen because it's about 15 degrees out here, which feels like a heat wave with as cold as it's been. You northerners know that. But you know, we got like 3 or 4 inches of snow in my part of Kentucky, but the big thing was ice. We got ice. If you look at those trees leaning over there, you can see them shiny. They're shiny because of the ice is still on them. And then obviously all this snow hasn't melted over here on this white oak because it's so cold. But you know, I got a bunch of wood in before the storm hit, had it all covered up, but people haven't stopped burning wood, so I got to take off some wood and get things rolling because you know, it's not getting any warmer. It's going to be staying like in the single digits at night all weekend. I think it's supposed to drop down close to 0 tonight. Some of my friends up north are like -16 this morning, so I'm not going to complain too much about the heat wave here in Kentucky. But today's mission is cutting frozen firewood and getting it out of the woods. Look at that. Doe tracks everywhere, or deer tracks. So before I start, I'm gonna try out these Amazon chains. Yeah, I went cheap. Yeah, I've got the money to buy Oregon, but I'm gonna do a review on these probably later and see how they hold up. I got 3 of these for, I think it was like $14 a chain or something like that to my 20-inch bar here. You know, when I'm cutting dirty logs, we'll see how they do. I don't want to be messing up all my chains, so we'll see how these do. But also on my small saw, I'm going to be dressing the bar up a little bit, fueling them up, so that'll take me a little bit. You always want to make sure this oiler's kept clean. So I'm going to clean around that quite a bit. Wipe the saw down before I put it back together. So I just dressed up this bar on my 20-inch saw, my 455 or 55 rancher, whatever they call them nowadays. And it had quite a few spots on it. And if you don't dress your bar, and I'm finding this out as like a old timer, but that's also a new because I hadn't been doing this in a few years. You don't dress your bar, it doesn't matter how sharp your saw is, your chain. It'll cut crooked or it'll cut not at all because it'll bind to one side. So I've been dressing up this bar with this, and I'm gonna get my other smaller steel, do the same thing to it. I also take my knife blade and run it down the groove here and pulled out a bunch of gunk from the middle. And then what you wanna do is make sure these little oiler holes are clear so your oiler can put oil into the bar. Got both the saws dressed up, oiler's clean, bar's cleaned out, chains sharpened, got them fueled up. Sitting here staring at this white oak. I think what I'm gonna do is put my marking stick on my smaller saw and then go back in and cut with a 455 with a brand new chain on it to get the work done. Let's get to work. Let's get my PPE on and let's get to work. You can hear how frozen it is. So I went ahead and dressed this up. There was just a lot of brush in here. And you can kind of tell, oh, it's slick here, how much ice is on that. But I'm kind of having a revelation. You know, it's the end of January and I need bundle wood for this year if I'm gonna have any, any chance of it seasoning at all before camping season. So today I'm probably gonna work on a little bit of bundle wood. I think that's called sourwood, that log that's hanging over that white oak. And I think there's a maple or a beech back there. That beech that's pulled over right there, that's gonna die. So I'm gonna cut that up. I'm pretty sure that's a beech. And there's some poplar across the road that I'm gonna block up 16" and start working on that, start getting my bundle wood pile up and letting it season regardless of what I'm doing, because I have to have that seasoned. But it's a race against time to get this out of here before it rots. It's not rotting, but you can tell the outer rim is starting to not be all there. So I'll pick out what's, you know, I don't want to, you know, sell to somebody, and give it to my neighbor because he loves free firewood. And the rest of it I'm gonna throw on the back of my truck. If it's too doty, I'll just leave it here. But I got work to do. Time to break out the bigger saw. I'm gonna set the camera up on my truck so I can actually get this work done before it gets dark. I'll show you the end result when I'm done. This new chain's actually doing really good, so I'm gonna bring the camera over here and show you how it cuts. And then I'm gonna cut the rest of this log up to where I marked it. I have to deal with it a little bit more carefully because it's going to come down on me, but let me show you what I'm working with. So, I didn't bring my log splitter because I didn't know how this road was going to be, and I didn't want a piece of ice or something to grab it. These are too big for me to carry, so I'm going to rip them in half with the chainsaw. Just a side note, frozen wood, probably not the best for the chain, but that chain did really good. And as a firewood guy, not a logger, you know, not a tree trimmer, but a firewood guy, so far, that chain's doing pretty good. We'll see how it does after first sharpening. Let's rip these logs. Well, I went ahead and blocked everything up for the bundle wood as well. and there's a maple over there I may work on. But the reason I rip or noodle those white oak chunks or bigger chunks is because I didn't bring my splitter with me, and it's just not worth it to me to try to handle those bigger blocks. Plus, if you're trying to roll them through here, it's just going to pick up snow, which isn't going to melt off because it's not warm out here, and it makes them more wet and difficult to deal with. So use your chainsaw, spend a little bit of time, rip them down the center. Turns out just fine. Now if I was 20 years old, I'd use a split maul, but and I was really good with a split maul, but I'm not going to chance it. I'm getting older. I don't want to hurt my shoulder. I had, for those who don't know me, I had shoulder surgery a little over 2 years ago, and I don't want to get back in that predicament. So anyways, now comes the long tedious process of loading this stuff up in a way that I'm going to take my time with and not get hurt. Let's get to work. Well, I got it all loaded up. I got my white oak back here. I believe that's maple right there. So most of my firewood that's gonna go to like mom and pops are right here. This firewood that's smaller, that's gonna be my bundle wood. And there's some beech and maple in there, I believe. So, a couple things I learned being cutting out in the cold, and this is over the years. One, clothing. Dress in layers. I sweat more than most people. So I bring extra hats. This one is frozen. I wore this the first part of the day. I also bring extra gloves. I've got like 12 pairs of gloves in there, but these, I like these, they're insulated and they're like a suede leather outer. Really good. And of course, always have your PPE. Now, another thing, your saws. Your saws have to be able to cut, but they are gonna get dull because frozen wood, ice, snow, stuff like that. So, as always, bring your files, bring your tools to clean your bars and stuff out with and to dress them. And I would bring an extra chain and, bring more than one saw. I always have more than one saw. Another thing is, and I've always told myself when I started this channel, I'm not gonna cut out learning moments. Apparently, there's a winter mode on one, if not both of my saws. You take off the back and flip a little switch on the back or uncover a hole. So I'll be doing that tonight because it's definitely winter. And then another thing is your bar oil. You can have different grades of bar oil, but to keep my bar oil a little bit more thin, I keep it in the cab of the truck on the way to where I'm cutting, and I keep the heat on it just to keep it to where it flows out a little bit better, in my opinion, at least out of the jug. And in the saw, I feel like it's going to be warmer anyways up against the engine. And then always bring water. It might be cold out here. I don't think it's gotten above 20 today, but I'm still sweating. I'm still using, walking back there with 2 blocks at a time and bringing it up here. It's a pretty good workout, and whether you know it or not, you're going to perspire. And you need to put that water back in your body. But the plan is to get all this wood back to the house and start splitting it. So I can get that bundle wood split into enough, probably wrist-sized pieces, so it's seasoned enough to burn this year as bundle wood. I got a late start, folks. I started cutting firewood with no real intent to sell, and then family found out I was cutting firewood, and I've just been, it's been wild, and I've not been able to get ahead of it since I've started, which isn't a bad thing. It's tax season, and I'm getting ready to talk to my CPA, and I've got all my transactions and everything lined out, but I did pretty good, and I plan on making this an even bigger operation this year. And honestly, as I get older and get closer to retirement, hopefully this and lawn mowing is gonna be a big operation for me. Now, I've not started lawn mowing yet, and not even started in that business, but I did procure some big lawnmower and some weed eaters, so that's my plan eventually. I don't know if I have enough time to do it this year, we'll see. But one cool thing about cutting out here in the wintertime is it's so peaceful. I saw like 5 deer on the way in here. I see all kinds of birds. I saw a red-bellied woodpecker, or red-headed woodpecker, a pileated woodpecker, some tufted titmouses, some chickadees, and I think I saw some cardinals. There's all kinds of wildlife out here. I love my birds, love my wildlife. There was actually a red-tailed hawk out here squawking at me a while ago. So if you can do so safely, I say get out in the woods, cut in the wintertime, because it is a peaceful experience. But I guess if you're doing this right, you wouldn't have to cut in the wintertime because you'd have all your wood already cut. Anyways, and like I say at the end of every video, guys, I've had a fishing channel. I'm probably gonna do a crossover video this spring and show my fishing channel, this channel, and show this channel, my fishing channel. But if you are a fisherman or a fisherwoman and you want to check out my other content, I will always leave the link to the Salty Googan in my videos. It's my fishing channel I've had for a while now, and it'd be awesome if you guys, crossed over and checked that out as well. But I'm running out of daylight. I gotta get this wood back to the house. Stay tuned to the next video. I'm probably gonna be making some bundle wood and some kindling and showing you guys how I do that, but I gotta get back to the house. See you all.